Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to you, hopefully elect. I got this video. Alright. I'm going to be very careful, Lord willing, with my words and the terms that I use, for the simple fact that this pertains to a particular group of individuals. Alright. And that's how you know who rules the world, because you can't talk about, these particular group of individuals, or this nation of people, you see. So nevertheless, like I said, I'm not going to play the whole 45 minutes of this video. I'm going to play a few minutes. All right. Because nevertheless, a lot of these things do pertain to our customs. All right. It goes back to our heritage, which was stolen. All right. But just to show you how, when it comes to these particular group of people, this particular nation, all right, and more specifically, the chief tribe of this particular nation, all right, they just don't fit the curses, all right. Real quick, because like I said, I'm gonna choose my words wisely. Because the particular events that took place, what was that, around World War II? All right, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm trying to look up, some dates, because again, I want to choose my words wisely. All right, so this particular event that took place around or between 1933. I'm sorry. Well, yeah, 1933. 1933 to roughly 1941 or 1945. All right. This particular event is what these particular group of people try to use to basically fit themselves into the curses of Deuteronomy 28. Which just no. Okay? No. All right? Because again, this particular nation of people, trying to fit themselves into the curses, right? And that's why I have this video here queued up, because I'm gonna play some of it, because I'm gonna go ahead and get this real quick. In Daniel chapter, bear with me as I look for this. Because I really only have one precept in mind. But Daniel chapter 9 and verse 12. Matter of fact, let's start at verse. Daniel 9 and verse 9. To the Lord our power belong mercies and forgiveness, though we have rebelled against him. Neither have we obeyed the voice of the law, our power, Slakia. Neither have we obeyed the voice of the Lord, our power, to walk in his ways, which he set before us by his servants the prophets. Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even being departed, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of the Most High, because we have sinned against him. And who is this pertaining to? Because I'm not going to go, through the whole history. All right. Not to get too detailed and, But I'm going to just read this real quick in Deuteronomy 1 and 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel on this side Jordan, in the wilderness, in the plain over against the Red Sea, between Paran and Tophel, and Laban, and Hazeroth, and Dizahab. All right, so basically these words, again, they pertain to the nation of Israel. All right, which consists of so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. Again, how do we know? Why do we believe so fervently, so wholeheartedly? Well, going back to Daniel chapter 9. All right, because who else? And that's why I said, this particular event that took place between 1933 and 1945, they tried to equate that to the curses. And again, just look it up. Lord willing, the spirit is, again, I got to choose my words carefully. All right. Got to choose my words carefully. But they tried to equate that particular event on what this particular nation of people went through. They tried to equate that to the curses, which that's why I said, man, no. Okay. Not by a long shot. No. All right. Going back to Daniel chapter 9 and verse 12. And he hath confirmed his words, which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven have not been done as hath been done upon Jerusalem. So that little tickle, all right, that little sneeze, all right, that little walk in the park, and I'm talking about the event between 1933 and 1945, 1933 and 1945, all right, that little walk in the park was nothing compared to, as far as the nation of Israel as a whole had to deal with. Hell, not even, just hell. Look at the tribe of Gad, the so-called Gad and Reuben. All right, so-called North American Indians and Seminole Indians. All right, hell, just Gad alone, the so-called North American Indians. All right, they were almost completely eradicated under Esau. All right, a whole tribe was almost wiped out. And again, even going back to this particular event from 1933 to 1945, man, that was a walk in the park compared to what the nation of Israel had to deal with, man. Who else fits these curses? Who came over here in transatlantic slave trade, the transatlantic slave trade, because this particular nation of people, they didn't go through it. All right. They didn't go through that. So like I said again, in Daniel 9 and 12, and he hath confirmed his words which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven have not been done as have been done upon Jerusalem. So, because now everyone's trying to, basically be adopted into our blessing. All right. Everyone's trying to be adopted into our blessing. But they didn't want to go through the curses. Because again, no one caught more hell out of all the 18 nations, or 17 nations. No one caught more hell. No one been through it more than the nation of Israel. All 12 tribes, man. All right. But again, just bring it all back full circle, just to show you how these people, the particular group of this particular nation is trying to, because they're still in, our homeland, which is not Africa. All right. But they're still in our homeland today, proclaiming themselves to be, the people of Yahweh Shema Shai. But they don't fit the curses. So to bring it all together, full circle, that's why I have this clip here. Just going to go ahead and play some of this. Again, I'm going to just let the spirit flow, see how far we get into it.
Watch the clip from the Netflix show. After she saw it, we talked, but generally the focus of our conversation wasn't so much on why the custom was practiced, but rather on the experience of the practice itself. Pearl, I want to ask you about women's clothing and models.
Because there was a particular clip that's being addressed on Netflix going into this particular nation of people, okay? And there was a particular scene that took place, all right, which kind of caught some backlash. People were upset, emotional, or whatever. In that particular scene, it was addressed here. The question was asked here, and as this chick here, which she might be of this particular nation of people, if I'm not mistaken, all right, well, she looks pretty decent. And matter of fact, I'm gonna claim her right now. But she asked, she's asking about this particular scene because, like I said, it caught particular, some backlash or whatever. But she was asking her about it. The lady on the left, the older woman of this particular nation of people, the woman on the left, about it. And because this is a custom, because like I said in the beginning, a lot of these customs that, well, I'll just say our customs were stolen, all right? And a lot of those countries, those nations over there, those Middle Eastern nations and whatnot, they stole our customs, all right? So this is the norm over there. So, let's go ahead and play some of this. Play some more of this.
Because this is, especially I want to talk about head covering, because this is something that I think is hard to understand. Let's step back. Before we talk about the show on Orthodox and how they portrayed this scene, let's put
because Salaki, I was going to say, this particular scene, it showed up a particular, this girl from a particular nation of people basically getting her head shaved, all right? And that's the whole premises of this video. Why did these women... Because again, a lot of people got upset, but this is a practice that a lot of those women over there and those this particular nation of people, they do this, all right, to again try to fit themselves into the curses. They actually shave their heads, all right. So when the chick on the right asked the chick on the left about this particular scene, while even a lot of other people were upset, well, the lady on the left, she wasn't really upset because this is something that they do. They practice. And they wear wigs, right? They wear their head coverings, right? Which again, ultimately, it all goes back to our laws. But moving on.
Record that Hasidic women in this community. This is not Chabad, for instance, but in this community, when they get married, their head is shaved. They keep their head shaved, and they cover their heads. A turban at home, right?
Yes.
And in the street, you put on a head covering.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. My head covering is a wig.
Yeah.
Okay.
My head covering was a scarf.
Right, the tichel, yeah?
Yeah. In Unorthodox, there's a scene where Esti, the main character,
And I'm assuming, because real quick, Slocky, I'm doing this for myself. Because she's about to, describe the scene that I just mentioned, that I was just talking about. But I want to see. Okay, so yeah, that's the actual name of the show on Netflix. Okay, so I just want to cue that up. I'm gonna watch it for myself, Lord willing. So yeah, Unorthodox. All right. So here we go.
after she gets married, her head is shaved and she has beautiful hair and then she's bald and she's crying. You're laughing. This is one of the most shocking scenes that I hear from people about all the time. What was your reaction?
Well, personally speaking, cutting my hair the day after my wedding was the greatest good thing that ever happened to me. Because if I wouldn't have had my hair cut, I would have yanked it out by the roots.
Really?
My hair was so bad. But anyways, I want to go back to that unorthodox business. Okay? So first of all, the day after the wedding, the mother cuts the daughter's hair without an audience. You saw that audience?
Yeah, the little girls.
Girl standing on, and the color,
The bride.
has this horrified look on her face, and she's building herself up in this hysteria. It never happens by us. We know this is going to happen. It's not a new thing.
How does the scene different from how in Unorthodox
Every
different
child
from how
that
it's in reality?
that grows up in our home sees their mother without hair. None of the mothers have hair. None of the aunts have hairs. You see this from when you're able to see.
So again, just Lord willing, more clarification. All right, this is the norm. All right, because in the scene, the girl, she got married and her hair's getting cut off. It's basically whole dramatic scene and the audience and the girls crying. All right, but this is the norm for these particular, this particular nation of people. All right. As far as having no hair or bald heads. All right. Well, why is that? Which, Lord willing, that's what I'm just gonna touch on real quick in this video.
We grow up with the knowledge that married women cut their hair and wear a shaitel, wear a tichel, a turban, whatever you want. Okay?
And when it's your turn, what happens?
It's a matter of fact thing.
Your mother comes and she does it
Your mother comes, and your husband is usually in shield,
in the synagogue.
right? And my mother cut my hair only with a scissor. Okay? She says, I want to get you used to it. Gradually, I'm cutting all your hair off, but with a scissor, and I was expecting this to happen. No surprise here.
What were you thinking while it happened?
Can't wait for this to happen because I want to get rid of my hair. Any shaitel is going to be an improvement over
What
my
was
hair.
with your hair?
Very bad hair. Very bad hair.
Frizzy?
You know, in those days when everybody was wearing beehives?
Yeah.
Yeah, my hair fainted.
I
It was
see.
black. Even for the wedding, I couldn't get it to look nice.
You couldn't tease it? Listen, I
mean, look at me now. Do you think I want to go around with 75-year-old hair that's already my head is half bald, let's say? Isn't this better?
This is very beautiful.
Isn't this better?
And you see, they're describing the whole thing with the hair. All right. And this is just me speaking as a man. All right. I didn't do any research on this or anything. This is just my speculation, my vain opinion. Because she's speaking about how she couldn't wait for her hair to get cut off because basically she had bad hair. All right. And again, just speaking as a man, I think that was the case for most of these women. All right. From this particular nation of people that we can't speak about. All right. Because again, they just don't fit. They don't fit. They're not the people. All right. Because I'm gonna get this account real quick in Luke chapter 7. Luke chapter 7. Because when it came to the Israelite woman, all right, you know, they had listen, when the scriptures talk about the matter of fact, I'm gonna get it, but before I get that, I'm gonna get this in Luke chapter 7. Bear with me. Like I said, I only have one precept in mind, so bear with me. And Luke chapter 7 and verse 37. And behold, a woman in the city which was a sinner, when she knew that Yahushua sat at meat in the Pharisee's house, brought an alabaster box of ointment, which was not cheap, by the way. All right. That's why when you read about Judas Maccabees, he he saw this and he was pissed off, because this particular sister, or this Evite, she knew what the deal was, and she knew what the deal was. So in the eyes of Judas Maccabees, all right, I'm sorry, Salakia, Judas Iscariot, Salakia, Judas Iscariot, not Judas Maccabees, but Judas Iscariot, all right, when he saw this, matter of fact, I don't know if it says it. Yeah, when you read on to the account, like I said, Judas Iscariot, he saw this, and to him, this particular Evite, all right, Mary Magdalene, all right, how she was anointing Yahushua, because again, she knew what the deal was. She knew that Yahushua was going to get offered up, and but nevertheless, the point being that back in Luke 7 and 38, it says, and stood at his feet behind him, weeping, and began to wash his feet with tears, and did wipe them with the hairs of her head, because she knew what was, she knew what the deal was. All right. But nevertheless, she washed Yahushua's feet, like I said, with the hairs of her head, and kissed his feet and anointed them with the ointment. All right. So that's the point. All right. Showing you how our women, especially when it comes to the Southern Kingdom, and even more specifically when it comes to the so-called black woman, all right, how they had long hair, and that was the glory of a woman. All right, if you're a woman that's able to wash a man's feet with her hair, she had pretty damn long hair, and that was the glory of a woman. All right, which that's what I wanted to get. All right, let me get that real quick. And it's, when you look into the there's a lot of, like, the elder out there in Alabama, the elder Arawam. He talks about the science of it, but the science behind women having long hair, you can look into it yourself. You can look into it yourself, and it makes sense. It makes sense. There's a whole science to it when it comes to women having long hair. The femininity. All right. There's a whole science to it. All right. But I'm gonna get this real quick in 1 Corinthians 11 and 15. And Lord willing, this is edifying, and it's making sense. But 1 Corinthians 11 and 15, it says, "But if a woman have long hair, it is a glory to her, for her hair is given her for a covering." All right. And like I said, to quote the elder Abraham again, hey, there's a whole science to it. When it comes to a woman having long hair, there's a whole science to it. There's a whole thing to it. You can do your research. All right. And it's like, damn, it's beautiful. All right. This program that Yahweh Shemam Shah has set up, it's just beautiful. It's just perfect. It just makes sense. But you see, the thing is, hey, the Lord took that from the so-called black woman, and more specifically. And why am I talking about the so-called black woman, the Judite woman? Because Judah in general is the head tribe, all right, the top tribe, the trendsetter, so to say. All right. Matter of fact, let's get that real quick, because that's where Yahushua, he's from the tribe of Judah, all right, the so-called black man. I'm going to get this in Genesis chapter 49. Genesis 49 and verse. I'm going to start at verse 8. It says, Judah, thou art he. And again, because as I mentioned in the beginning, all right, when it comes to the description, all right, because it's not going to tell you specifically, and this is what we touched on this past Sunday, this fellowship, all right, faith. Ultimately, that's what it all boils down to, faith, all right, because, listen, the scripture is not going to tell you that Babylon is America, all right. The scripture is not going to tell you, blatantly that Jesus, he's not really, who everyone thinks he is, but he's a so-called, he's a black man from the tribe of Judah. No, man, all right. That's just not how the Lord operates. All right, he's not going to do that. All right, again, this whole thing is based off of faith, because again, who else fits the descriptions that the Lord left for us to be able to discern through the Spirit of Yahweh Shemel Shai? Who else fits these descriptions, right? Because like I'm gonna read in Genesis 49 and 8, Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Why? Because again, Judah being the head tribe, all right, it says, thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies, thy father's children shall bow down before thee, because again, Judah is the head tribe, all right? And that's what the tribe that Yahweh Shai is from. He's from the tribe of Judah, all right? But it said, thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. And we saw that, going back to the, 50s, 60s, 70s, right? You had, Judah rousing up. And matter of fact, when you read on, it says, Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. Because again, back during this time period, these certain time periods, you had specifically the southern kingdom, and again, more specifically the tribe of Judah getting roused up, rising up, and like I said, Judah is a lion's whelp. And, it's just like, who fits this description? Jake in general, and more specifically, hey man, when it comes to Judah, man, you look at a Judah wrong. Hey man, Jake's ready to start some shit. You step on go out. I'm not telling you to do this, but you step on Jake's shoes, man. You step on Jake's Jordans, man. Step on Judite at that. Step on the Judite's Jordans, man. It's gonna be all hell. It's gonna break loose. It's gonna shoot the whole block up because stepped on his Jordans by mistake. This is the characteristics of our people. Because, in this chapter, it goes into, again, the characteristics of our people. Who else fits? That's why the Spirit had me bring that Daniel's out, man. No one else fits these characteristics except our people. So-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, West Indians, Haitians, all right? No one else fits these the characteristics, right? But again, in verse 9, it says, Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down. He crouched as a lion. He couched as a lion. Because again, every time Judah gets roused up, and you see the fact that Judah being the head tribe, naturally all the other tribes, they tend to follow after Judah. All right, naturally, because again, Judah is so to say the trendsetter. All right, so once Judah gets roused up, all the other tribes, man, they're gonna follow suit. They're gonna follow after Judah, man. And it was prophesied that, Judah would get this, for the most part, they would wake up first to get this truth first, and then from there, all the other tribes and whatnot. All right. But it says, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? And to answer that, Yahweh Shemel Shai is going to get Judah roused up. All right. Because, Esau, he's only going to be able to contain Judah for so long. He's only going to be able to throw the bait out there for so long. Eventually, Judah's going to say, man, the hell with that. And, like the scriptures say, Judah shall be a terror. All right. Eventually Judah, and from there, once Judah really starts getting roused up, and we're seeing that now for the most part, Judah ransacking these stores, man. The Southern Kingdom, they're ransacking these stores. Jake, man, just Jake in general, tearing shit up. Out there in Philadelphia, if I'm not mistaken. But from there, hey, the other tribes, man, you know, they're going to follow suit because, again, Judah is the head tribe. And that's the point I want to make. Because when you read verse 10, it says, the scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet until Shiloh come. And unto him shall be the gathering of the people be. So like I just said, all right, Judah being the head tribe. And from there, the other tribes are going to wake up. They're going to follow suit. All right, because, again, you know, Judah is the head tribe. And that is the tribe that Yahweh Shai is from. Matter of fact, let's get it, man. You know, this is basic milk. But let's get it. Let me get this in Hebrews. Hebrews chapter 7. Hebrews 7:14. It says, for it is evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah. And, you know, you can go through plenty of, you know, plenty of verses. But what sticks out to mind more specifically is, in particular, is Matthew 1:1, the genealogy, right? Again, you know, research it yourself, all right? Because, matter of fact, let's finish this out in Hebrews 7:14. For it is evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah, of which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood. Because, yeah, you know, the priesthood that belonged to the Levites, all right, the so-called Haitians, all right? But nevertheless, Yahweh Shai being the, you know, Melchizedek, Malak Tazadak, all right, the chief priest, all right. You know, that's a whole nother lesson for, you know, another time. But because, you know, we are under the order of Melchizedek, all right, because under the order of Aaron, you know, only the Levites, you know, were to be the lawgivers and, you know, things pertaining to the priesthood. But now we're under the order of Melchizedek, all right, and being that we're under the order of Melchizedek, we're all men, all right, of, you know, from the 12 tribes, all right, ought to be teachers and, you know, just pertaining to things pertaining to the priesthood under the order of Melchizedek. Again, that lot is given to all the men, all right, all Israelite men, Slakia, all right, you see. But I'm gonna go to Jeremiah chapter 14. Again, basic milk scriptures. Jeremiah 14:2. Judah mourneth, and like I just read in Hebrews 7:14. All right, Judah, which that's the tribe that Yahweh Shai is from, right? Again, Jeremiah 14:2. Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the ground, and the cry of Jerusalem is gone up. All right, and you know, quite frankly, when you just go into the word black, because you hear us say black or so-called black. All right, but the word there, the Hebrew word there is kodar, which is, it just simply means dark skin. All right, that's the Hebrew word for black. Because again, we say so-called black, so-called white, you know, which again, that's another topic for another time. All right, but you know, just show you how, hey, listen, you know, when it comes to the tribe of Judah, again, when it comes down to the physical description, listen, the Lord is detailed. All right, He's very detailed. It's specific. Now, like I said, you're not going to read in the scriptures, well, like I mentioned earlier, was America, Babylon the Great, or the Virgin Daughter of Babylon is talking about America. No, all right. The Spirit has to be supping with you, you know, to reveal these things unto you, to show you. All right. You see, but nevertheless, Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black, or kodar, or dark skin. You see, and Yahweh Shai, listen. Contrary to popular belief, when the true Messiah, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, shows up, is going to be a dark skin, a very dark chocolate man. Let's get it. Revelation 1. It's basic milk, but hey, let's touch it real quick. Revelation 1. Revelation 1, and I start at verse 12. It says, because when you read verse 11, Revelation 1 and 11, those words are in, matter of fact, let's read it. Revelation 1 and 11. The hell with it. Let's read verse 9. Start at verse 9. Revelation 1 and 9. I, John, who also am your brother, and companion in tribulation, and in the kingdom of patience and patience of Yahushua HaMashiach, was in the isle that is called Patmos, for the word of the Most High, and for the testimony of Yahushua HaMashiach. I was in the Spirit on the Lord's day, and heard behind me a great voice as of trumpet. All right, a very deep voice, because again, contrary to proper belief, hey, listen, the Lord, he's not no sweet, laid back, effeminate, you know, Michael. I was watching a video today with this guy Jason Weaver, um, Jason Weaver, how he played Michael Jackson, because that's what I was thinking about, Michael Jackson. All right, with that soft, effeminate voice, no, man, the Lord, he's a very austere and mean looking, mean bugging, deep voice, because like I said, it said as a voice of a trumpet, and it also reminds me of, for those that, because I love the game, the franchise of the God of War. All right, and a lot of people don't like the newest versions of the God of War, but they were pretty decent to me. But nevertheless, you had the one, what's it called, man? What's he called? The world serpent. All right, when you watch the God of War, just look up the world serpent. I think that's what they called him in the video game series. And basically the world serpent, when he spoke, it was such a deep and power. All right, that everything around it basically shook. Everything was shake. Because of the power that resonated off of the voice of the world serpent. You see, and that's just to give a visual of what it reminds me of when I think about Yahushua as he spoke, as he speaks, just that deep and powerful. Hell, speaking of, because I mentioned him earlier, the Elder Arawam. He's got that deep voice. Certain brothers got that, they got the deep voice. Well, Yahushua, he has a very deep voice, because again, he's not some laid back, sweet, simple, effeminate. No, man. All right. But it says, verse 11, saying, I am Alpha and Omega, the first and the last, and what thou seest, write in the book, and send it unto the 7 churches which are in Asia, unto Ephesus, and unto Smyrna, and unto Pergamos, and unto Thyatira, and unto Sardis, and unto Philadelphia, and unto Laodicea. And these words were in red. All right, so it means that this is Yahushua himself, right? It says, and I turned to see the voice that spake with me, and being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks, and in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and a girt about the paps with the golden girdle. All right, basically war attire. All right, but nevertheless, this is given a physical description of Yahushua, what he looks like. That's why throughout different camps you see brothers with the certain posters and whatnot. You got people talking shit, man. Y'all are worshiping the image. No, we're not worshiping the image. You don't see us bowing down to the image. And no, man, it's just simply giving a depiction of who the word ignorantly calls Jesus, what he looks like. All right, the real Messiah, because again, it's going to be contrary to popular belief. All right, verse 14, it says, his head and his hairs were white like wool. A fully white beard. The hairs on his head. The hairs on his head were white. All right. It says they were white like wool. All right, that Negro texture. All right, Negro hair, as some people say. Right. It says as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass. Now you just look up fine brass. All right, or if you have a penny laying around, just look at shiny penny, because this is describing what his again, Yahushua, his skin tone. All right, now you do have a lot of simpletons that'll well, listen, when you bring that precept, when you bring that scripture out, it's talking about his feet, but his arms were blue, his legs were purple, his face was white, man, basically trying to describe the Lord like he was a rainbow. No, man, unless you have leprosy, 10 times out of 10, all right, you're gonna, for the most part, yeah, you're gonna be the same tone from head to toes, all right, from your head to your feet. Your skin tone is going to be the same tone. So more than likely, I could say 10 times out of 10, if Yahushua's feet, were a dark shade of brown, more than likely his whole, complexion will be a dark shade of brown. But nevertheless, like I said, and his feet like unto fine brass, because that's the point that I was making. Fine brass, you just think of something like a shiny penny or some, bronze, something of that sort. But when you read on, it says, as if they burned in the furnace. Now, if you burn anything in the fire, man, obviously it's going to be a dark charcoal black, all right? So again, describing Yahushua's skin complexion, he was a very rich chocolate, dark-skinned man, all right? You see, going back to what I read in, what was that? Jeremiah, all right? They are black unto the ground, which, again, the Hebrew word there is quadar, which it just simply means dark skin. All right, so Yahushua, he's a very dark-skinned man. And as it reads, it says, in his voice as the sound of many waters. Again, Yahushua has that deep voice, all right? Powerful voice, So yeah, that, just describing Yahushua and what he looks like, all right? For one, okay, and as I described, through the Spirit, read the other verses pertaining to the tribe that he's from, all right, dark skin, you see. So I'm gonna pretty much end it off as far as this video, because another 5 minutes or so in this video, like I said, they touch on the customs and things of that nature, but nevertheless, just the point that I wanted to bring out of this clip was the fact that you do have particular these women from this particular nation of people that we can't speak about, and how they shave their heads, all right, to basically fit the curses, all right. And what particular curses am I talking about? Well, going to Isaiah chapter 3. Isaiah chapter 3. I'm going to start at verse 16. That's beautiful because the heading says, Judah's women denounced. All right. So the Spirit had me bring, all that out. All right. Mainly focusing on the tribe of Judah. All right. Because again, what I'm about to read, what I'm about to bring out through the Spirit, for the most part, it doesn't really, hell, even when it comes to the Northern Kingdom, they don't really, and that's why a lot of Judite women, a lot of so-called black women, they envy. they don't really, mess with the Northern Kingdom, the Northern tribes, because for the most part, they have their hair, And again, that's the whole premises of this video, all right, because this is something that they do voluntarily. Well, versus the real cursed people, all right, and mainly when it comes to the women, the real cursed women, this is an involuntary thing. All right, a lot of those women over there that of this particular nation of people, they do this voluntarily to, like I said, fit themselves into the curses. All right, as I'm about to read one in Isaiah 3:16. Moreover, the Lord said, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and this is talking about the actual women, all right, because to differentiate Oftentimes, the scriptures, when it refers to the daughter of Zion, it's talking about the men. But oftentimes when it talks about the daughters of Zion, it's actually talking about the women. So this is actually talking about the women. All right. It says, moreover, the Lord saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet. Therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret parts. So you see, that's the point. All right, you can read on, when it comes to the judgment that the Lord set forth on the women, of the tribes, man. But mainly focusing on this right here, what I just read in verses 16 and 17. All right. Mainly verse 17. It says, therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion. So you see, who fits this curse, man? You can't get around it. All right. Let me see what that says in the G&T. Because that G&T, it goes hard. The Good News Translation, man, it goes hard. So let's see what that says. So yeah, Isaiah 3 and verse 17. It says, matter of fact, let's start at verse 16. Isaiah 3 and 16. In the G&T, it says, the Lord said, look how proud the women of Jerusalem are. Man, and I'll be here a whole nother hour, going into the pride of the Israelite woman, and especially when it comes to the so-called black woman, man. It's like, damn, how much more proud can these women get, right? It says they walk along with their noses in the air. Man, like I said, this video will be a whole nother hour just going into, who else does this fit? Who else does this fit? Because you got a lot of these so-called black women crying out, where are the good men at? Right? You got a lot of so-called black women, they want to blame the so-called black man why, he ain't fucking with her. Right? You got a lot of these passport bros and whatnot. The so-called black woman, all the tribes of the, all the women of the tribes, man, are suffering, but mainly the so-called black woman. Because again, as I made the point earlier, the head tribe being the tribe of Judah, man, and you so-called black woman, hey, you supposed to be the set the standard, so to say, for these other for the other tribes, man, and the concubines, because the women of other nations, they're not exempt. All right, we're gonna have plenty of those, but nevertheless, you so-called black women, you're supposed to set the standard for these other women, man. But look at you, right? It says they are always flirting. You see, and it's to a point now where, hey, man, no one is messing with the so-called black woman. All right, and I be telling brothers, man, at the camp, man, because I don't think they seen the video that the Apostle Gabar did a few months ago, going to brothers, man, like to roughly quote the Apostle Gabar, man, like what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you, brothers, man? Don't you love yourself? You got to love yourself, man, because you got Jake out here still going head over heels over the so-called black woman. Like, no, man, I'm straight, and it's cold because I've only been with one so-called black woman in my entire life. All right, I've only had one so-called black woman in my entire life, and that was enough for me. All right, and it's cold because I've only had one so-called black woman, and I've only had one outside of the so-called black woman. I've had one, which I'm, through the grace of the Lord, I'm still with. I've only had when it comes to when it comes to Eve, all right, I've only had one so-called black woman and one so-called Puerto Rican woman. All right, which I'm still with her ass today, and that's enough for me. All right, you know, and that's why I tell brothers every week, man. Like, man, y'all better stop fucking with Eve, man. Y'all better get you a Sheetamite. All right, get you a Moabite. Hell, get you a Hamite, man. And as dirty, low life, you know, disgusting as they are, man. Listen, right now, listen, the hell with Eve. All right, the hell with Eve, man. And it only took me one so-called black woman and one so-called Puerto Rican woman to get to this point where I'm at, where I'm like, man, one is enough for me. All right, you know, I tell brothers all the time, man. You know, I don't know what it is with y'all, but hey, y'all got it. I'm good. And it's crazy because more and more, you know, Southern women, they, giving you that eye contact and choosing signals and all that. I'm good. I'm straight. I'm good, bruh. I'm good. You know, but they're losing. Nevertheless, that's the point. They're losing, and they feel it. You know, they feel it. You see, because like I said again, it says they walk along with their noses in the air. They are always flirting. You see, because they're losing, and at this point, it's like they're throwing Hail Marys, man. You know, to get anyone to deal with them, to look their way, right? It says they take dainty steps, and the bracelets on their ankles jingle. Verse 17 is the point. But I will punish them. I will shave their heads and leave them bald. So who else fits this description to the T? Who else? And like I said, because when it comes to, you know, the Southern Kingdom, hey, it's involuntary. Like I said, you have these women in these particular nation of this particular nation of people. They do it voluntarily. All right, they do it by choice. All right, but you know, hey, Eve, she ain't got no choice. All right, she has no choice when it comes to, you know, just having no hair, or at least not having long hair. Which, like I mentioned earlier, man, that was the glory of a woman, having long hair. But these women, hey, the Evite, man, is specifically the Southern Kingdom, hey, man, Judah, man, the Judite, these Judite women, all right, you know, it should speak for itself, Lord willing. It should speak for itself. You should see it for yourself who this fits, having no hair. You see? So with all that being said, to bring it full circle, man, hey, you know, that's why I want to play some of this clip, all right? You know, because just to make the point that a lot of those women over there, you know, this particular nation of from this particular group of people, and how they, you know, forcibly, all right, voluntarily, they shave their heads. They try to fit themselves into this curse, all right? They try to fit themselves into this curses, all right? These curses, our curses, but even more so with this particular curse that I just read, having no hair, bald heads, all right? You know, they do that voluntarily, but, you know, let's be real. Who really fits this curse to the T? You know? So there's a lot more that could be said, or more points that could be made, but Lord willing, the point has been made, and I'm gonna end it off there, giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Shalom to you, hopefully elect that there. Lord willing, Lord willing, Lord willing. This was edifying. You know, and until the next one, Abaratazah, Shalom.